Hi guys, welcome to Crypto Waffle episode 31. Today's topics will be the Circle IPO, or will the Circle IPO mark the top? Is the IPO bubble inflating? Global liquidity says it's time to move higher. Global liquidity is flashing green and the markets are waking up. And then, of course, as always, our gems of the week. So first
And
of all, I
our
want to get your
trades.
take on, yes,
What
and
about
our
our
trade,
trades?
sorry. Well, we actually haven't. We're a bit late, aren't we? We are actually
Yeah,
recording this on Thursday the 12th for full transparency. Um, so we will go over our trades that we put up, well, near enough 2 weeks ago now, and see what they're at. Because I
I
believe, if
can.
I'm correct in thinking, we have one hit and one not hit.
I think I can access my or our hyperliquid from here. I think I can. So if I can, I'll have a look, and we can maybe make a midweek crazy trade, or at least we can check our long-term trades because we did put some long-term ones on, so we can check those. But I
Yeah.
am out of the country at the minute. I am in beautiful Guyana. I've been here for about a week, and I am heading home back to Blighty tomorrow. So I woke up miserable this morning. I don't want to leave this place ever. I really don't want to leave, but I've got to go back and look after my family and all that stuff. So I'll be back
We've got to
tomorrow,
be
and then we should.
responsible.
I've got to be a responsible adult, yeah, for a little while, and then we should hopefully get back to our normal rotation for Monday, our usual crypto waffle segments.
Lovely stuff. So first of all, the IPO stuff. What do you think about that? And now I hate to say it, but in the short term, I can't help but think the release of that Circle IPO may put us into some sort of sell-off for the next week and a bit.
Nah, not buying it. I think the ultimate hand that is pushing the market at the moment is liquidity, and it doesn't matter who IPOs or what Trump says or whatever. It doesn't matter if there's more money, price go up. I think it's that simple. When the liquidity is going to move as drastically as we are predicting it to move. If the liquidity doesn't move as drastically as we're expecting it to move, or if it dries up and people assume that the price will follow that and tail down, then we'll go down. I don't think the Circle IPO will have much impact away from sentiment. So I feel like it might give out a toppy sentiment. It might make people feel like the sentiment is might make people feel like we're getting to the top, because generally IPOs mark the top generally. So
Because
I'm not
Coinbase
sure.
was the one from last cycle.
Yeah, and that was the question I had for you. How would you play this Circle IPO? Do you buy it as soon as it releases, or do you wait for a pullback?
If you have balls of steel, you can buy it immediately and try and sit through the pain. But I think I think you're right in saying this hasn't marked a long-term top. I think it's marked a short-term top, i.e., just the next week or so, where I think we'll have a little drawdown. Because I think if we were going to have some weakness in June, it was going to be a coming of the second into third weeks, and then maybe the fourth we come off, and then rally through July. But I do think at some point there will be, or this has started off the IPO craze again. Now, personally, I'd be keeping tabs of all the crypto companies that IPO, and then during the next big downturn, that's when you look to scooping back up again.
Yeah.
Um, now, I was one of those idiots that bought Coinbase last cycle when it first come out, made a little bit of money, uh, took a little bit off, and then ride it all the way back down. And it did like a shitcoin thing where it went down 80+% from peak to trough, and then obviously rallied from there. So keep a tab of it, monitor it. But yeah, at the moment, I just don't think it's a good. You might be able to make some money over the next 6 months or so, but I just think you're best off out of it and just monitor them until a longer term bottom occurs, maybe on the next big downturn, so 2026, 27 ish, whenever that is.
I'll tell you what we could do. What might be a good idea is on our website we will keep a list of the 10 top crypto IPOs that happen this cycle. Oh, and maybe we'll include Coinbase and two or three others that are incumbents. So maybe we'll have a list of 10.
We could just do a crypto stock watch list.
Yes, yeah, we'll do that. Crypto stock watch lists. We'll add that to our CryptoWaffle.fun website, and that will be another resource for the users. Because I do think you're right. I do think with some of these cryptos, they are simple bull market, bear market plays. Coinbase has done magnificently since the bear market lows, and we knew at the bear market lows that Coinbase wasn't going to die. To be fair, at bear market lows is when most exchanges do decide to die. It's normally at that point for obvious reasons. They sometimes use people's coins to make leverage trades like FTX did. If that goes wrong, then the exchange dies. So I think that if we do get a Kraken or a Circle, definitely, even though it's not an exchange, I think it will be worth picking those up during the bear market. So when it's maximum pain, everyone's saying, oh, Bitcoin is dead. People are asking you, oh, how are you feeling? Because that's what happens to me. People will ask you, oh, how are you feeling about crypto? Crypto's gone down. It must be quite tough for you, right? In their mind, they're like, ha ha, shame. I told you that internet money was nonsense. During that point, when you start to get those comments, that's when you go and you pick up two or three of the things that are on the crypto stocks watch list, if you're that way inclined. Obviously, for me, I wouldn't do that. I would just buy the crypto. But not everybody is into wallets and hardware wallets, and some of the people may just have money in their stocks and shares, or ready to allocate to their stocks and shares, ISAs, things like that. For them, buy those cryptos middle of the bear market. Just wait for.
Because we've already had Gemini file, haven't they?
Yeah.
And Gemini filed, so they could be the next one.
I think Gemini will get it. I think Kraken will get it. I think Circle will get it. Trying to think what the other ones may be.
There's Ripple. But I don't
Ripple,
think...
Yeah.
No, I don't think they will IPO.
No. I think Ripple ETF is the main news for them, for the XRP guys. If they get an ETF. I think there's some mining stocks, Bitcoin mining stocks that will probably be well worth.
With them also IPO now, I think this is the start of what we've been trying to say. Well, what we've been basically hinting at is this bubble starting to get bigger. So the Circle IPO has shown us that there is capital out there that's ready just to fly into this stuff from TradFi world, and that will indefinitely just pump this bubble up higher until we get to a point where we pop. Now, I don't think we're at the stage yet, but as well as this potentially marking a short-term top, I also believe this kind of signifies the start of the bubble in the IPO space, and that could be even some more IPOs on smaller AI firms. It could be anything. Obviously, we're just going to be interested in the crypto IPOs that come out, or crypto-related IPOs. And I think the other ones that would be interesting, or actually some stocks I'm looking at, is robotics and stuff like that. Because I saw that Trump yesterday signed something about flying cars, or some sort of executive order about getting flying cars up and running. So that would be quite interesting.
I find it interesting now, after what happened with the tariffs and the court saying that you don't have the authority to do that. I do, a bit off of crypto topics, but I do think sometimes when he does sign things, it's just for show. It's just make it look like he's doing something fantastic. I don't think he has the authority to sign and say you can now fly cars in the sky. I think that would be crazy. The cars would crash into each other. But going back to IPOs, there was one last thing I wanted to say, which has escaped me now. If it comes back to me, I'll mention it in a little while.
Right, okay. Right, we'll move on to global liquidity then. Bybit. Is that it? Oh, that's the other one. Ledger's a massive one.
Oh, Ledger? Oh, I don't like Ledger. Ledger's
What
not.
if Ledger were to IPO?
I don't think Ledger's a big enough company. Surely.
I would have said they probably are.
No,
No?
I don't think. I don't think so. I don't. Let's see how much Ledger annual revenue.
Because the
I
other
don't
ones are
think.
saying the naming Consensus, Ledger, Fireblocks, and Kraken are strong IPO contenders. Because Ledger are French, right? Or is that wrong?
Yeah, yeah. Ledger are French, but I don't know. I don't know how much that matters. I think you can. No, yeah. So Ledger's current valuation is at 1.5 billion. So
There we
so
go.
I guess it can. Oh, that was what I was going to ask you. That was what I was going to ask you. Do you think that TradFi will be cautious about buying IPOs when they initially launch, crypto IPOs, when they initially launch after what's happened with all of the other crypto IPOs, in that it has been down only for the first, I don't know, few months of their life cycle? And what tools do you think people will use to get the actual valuations on these new companies? Because there's two schools of thought, I guess. One school of thought is that you would say, oh, this crypto company is worth X because the equivalent TradFi company is worth X. But then there's another school of thought which says that when you bring in a new technology, not only do you take from the incumbent technology, but you also expand the pie because new use cases come along and things like that. So, do you think that
Yeah.
people will be slow to enter these IPOs because they'll be a bit shy and be waiting for a pullback?
I
Because that's what we've
think
seen.
I think people will get dragged in, and as much as the smart money, they say smart money knows what they're doing. If they see big green candles, they go in. Like they don't wait around. And also, if they have to, if there are risk on, so say they have to have some risk on, they will have to allocate regardless. So why not allocate in the new shiny thing or the new kid on the block? But yeah, I think, and as we just said, I think this is the start. And I think these guys, they obviously will track global liquidity and macro setups and all this stuff. And if they know that this is potentially the start of the IPO bubble starting again, then they're not going to be hesitant to invest early on in it. Because by all means, and I've learned this from Michael Harding at Blockchain Sensei, I think it's 70% of tech IPOs will just launch and then sell off. The 30% that don't will have a tick up for a period of time, and then you get the rollover. Whereas Coinbase, if I throw a Coinbase chart up quickly, so just so people can see, where are we here? We go out to the Coinbase monthly. You will see literally we launched, come down, chopped sideways, had a slight bounce up, and then just sold off. And then if I was to show you Circle, which I did have on here, let's have a look. Put it on daily. All we've kind of had in the, so far, obviously it's only been out 5 days or whatever it is straight up. And we IPO'd at around $64. It's currently up about 82%. So if you manage to get it in that first day or two, depending on where you bought it on this candle, you're probably sitting pretty at the minute.
Can you show that as a?
Yeah,
Can you show that as market cap? Can we see that as market cap?
what, the Circle IPO?
Yeah, Circle. Could you show that as market cap? Because I'm not sure.
Um,
I want to compare the Circle IPO to the Coinbase one in terms of market cap, and let's
the
see
market
if the
cap is
initial.
if you look if you look down here, the market cap is around 25 billion.
Yeah, and what? Let's go
And
back to let's have a
then
look at Coinbase, and let's see how they done. Even though they're
so
two quite different companies, I do think that there's an
well, Coinbase isn't too far off where we initially come down and sold into. So in this area, their market cap would have been around where it is now, 63 billion.
right. Okay, okay. So is it just that with
I would
Coinbase
assume.
they released? Is it just that with Coinbase they released that too high a price?
Possibly. But then again, they also launched, if you look at the dates, they launched at the back end of 2021 slash Q4. And we know
Yeah.
what
So
happened then.
yeah, they
So
launched
they
at the
launched at
actual
the
top.
complete wrong time. Yeah, look, we had the Bitcoin top in November, Q4. And then that's when liquidity just shrunk, hence why Coinbase just sold off. Whereas Circle haven't, well, in my point of view, haven't launched at a cycle top. So the dates are very different as well. The timings of the launches are very different. So yes, in the short term, I think we could potentially just mark a little local top. And then I think what we're seeing now, i.e. this sell-off today, I think is related to stocks. I thought yesterday that CPI data was going to push Bitcoin to highs. We didn't quite get there. Yesterday we got to a high of, where are we? 110,617. So we weren't a million miles off. But whilst we're on Bitcoin, this kind of leads us straight into the global liquidity side of things. Is there anything else you want to mention on IPOs quickly?
No, no. I think I'm done with IPOs.
Okay. So first of all, I'd like to share, obviously, this global liquidity chart.
Actually,
And
do you
as
know
we all
what?
know, we've been tracking this for a
So,
while.
sorry. I'm not done with
Go on, go
IPOs.
for it.
I want to think about this. Is it Kraken coming next? Who's coming next?
Possibly.
Who's coming? Right. Let me see. So what I'm considering is how do we know? How do we know which or what price they're going to launch at? What price the IPO is going to? Oh, Gemini. I think Gemini might be next. Apparently.
Yeah, I think they're the
How do we know
latest
what
one.
price they're going to launch at?
We don't
Galaxy eToro
specifically.
Exodus. There have been some. Do you know what? Wow, I've not really been
Because
paying much attention to these.
I believe Circle originally, I think they were meant to launch at like 6 billion,
Yeah,
which makes,
yeah. See,
yeah,
they're
it's probably
different.
about right.
The different. So the different IPOs launch at different market caps. So Circle's launched at 8. Galaxy has recently launched at 3. eToro launched at 4.
Because I'm pretty sure
Exodus,
if
which
Binance was to launch, they would be in the hundreds of billions.
yeah. So okay, so right,
And I
right
think
then.
that's
So
why
Circle
maybe
just launched.
Coinbase launched at such a high price.
Yeah, so Circle launched at 8 billion and Coinbase have launched at 86 billion. So I guess that's the difference. It's not a question of they will all go down. I think it's a question of what they launch at, which is similar to ICOs, I guess, which is what I'm more familiar with.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess it's a question of having a look to see. And Circle now, well, here's how I'm going to play it with Circle now will be a measuring stick. Now, if any IPOs come along and they are IPOing at less than what Circle IPO'd at, then it's depending on what it is. That's kind of like the measuring stick for whether it's a good value investment or not. For me, that's how I'm going to play it, and I
Yeah.
will start to pay attention to this now because I do think there is money to be made one way or another. Because if it's too high, you can short it, and if
So,
it's too low,
and you're saying what, short the stock? Or
yeah,
how
you
are you
short the.
playing that in crypto?
Well,
Because
you
you
can't play it
can't,
in crypto.
how would you
No,
play that in crypto land?
no, you can't. I'd have to move some money over to TradFi land. I'd have to bite the bullet, but I do think it's an opportunity worth biting the bullet for. I do think it's an opportunity worth
Yeah.
biting the bullet for
I
because
just
some.
don't think yet. I think towards the end of when we're when I believe it'd be closer towards the end of the cycle. I mean, we're too early to be shorting that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much it is when it comes out. So what I mean is, like, if, for example, Gemini comes out and they come out at $120 billion valuation, I'm going to short it, regardless, because it's come out too high. My equivalent is
Yeah, it can't come out
Zcash.
bigger than Coinbase.
No, but I guess we'll see, because hype makes crazy things happen, right? So if there's
That's
just a
true.
lot of hype and a lot of money chasing this thing, and it may not happen that it comes out bigger than Coinbase, but if it comes out equal to Coinbase, I'm shorting it. Like Gemini is not nearly as big a exchange as Coinbase. So, but
See,
let's see.
I think if they were to, so if they're to launch in say the next month or two, are you still shorting it?
If they launch, then they will what? Sorry.
If they launch in the next month or two, would you still short Gemini?
It depends at what valuation. So that's what I'm saying. The valuation that they launch at.
Let's say they were to launch at 50 billion, which is just a tad smaller than Coinbase.
Um, at 50 billion, if
I
they
wouldn't
launch.
short that in the next
No,
month or two.
no. What I would do is I would just leave that alone. So it'd have to be an extreme
Yeah,
one way or the other. So if they launch at 500 million, I'm longing it. If they launch at 500
yeah,
billion, I'm shorting it. If they launch at around 50, I think that's arguable. It's fair. It's too close. That's too near. It's only if something extreme happens. But
yeah,
I would have probably noticed the 86 billion of Coinbase as an extreme, because it is a lot bigger than any of the other
yeah,
crypto things to come before it. So I probably would have shorted that. Like, it's in hindsight, obviously, it's easy to say that, but the
yeah.
logic that I'm using is, I think, quite sound. So,
And
yeah. So
if you think back to 2021 as well, you could arguably say that Coinbase, or to me, comes across as a bigger company now than it did then last cycle,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is probably right in saying, which is why the stock also tanked.
Well, the other thing would have been if FTX would have launched at the same time. FTX could have launched at 50 billion. FTX would have been at the time the Kraken to the Coinbase. So not quite as big an exchange, but
Yeah,
still one of the dominant top five, let's say. And
yeah,
that went to zero. So short in that, you would have been a super genius. And I think if they'd have launched at that point, because the market was so frothy, they would have just launched at a ridiculously high price. I think it'll
mm,
be interesting, but I do think there will be chances, especially if a big project or IPOs or a big company IPOs late in the cycle. If a big company IPOs in November or
yeah.
December and they IPO at a stupid high price because everybody says, oh, it's a super cycle now, this time we're not going down, everything's different, I'm shorting that. 100% I'm shorting that.
Top
And
signal.
yeah, and I will be on here shouting about I'm shorting it. I don't know what it will be, but I hope it happens. I'll be on here shouting about I'm shorting it, and then in a few months after, I can be on saying how smart I am, and everyone should subscribe. XYZ. XYZ.
Right,
So yeah,
jumping
let's
into global
let's do Bitcoin.
liquidity.
Yeah,
So global liquidity is showing us that we should be going higher. Can you see my screen? Can we
yeah,
see?
yeah.
Right, let's zoom right out because I want to get a bit of a longer term. Oh. So this global liquidity chart we have been tracking, and you'll see where it perfectly lines up. And this here is where, coincidentally, the Bitcoin ETFs with BlackRock launched. So since we have been involved, or since crypto on Bitcoin has been involved with BlackRock and what they do in the TradFi world, we have basically been in lockstep with this global liquidity chart, as you can see, pretty much. And at the time, when we were talking about global liquidity back in, or around this peak in Q4, we said at the time, we thought we had deviated. So, i.e., the peak hadn't come in and we hadn't sold off as sharply as global liquidity or as quickly. And we did just chop sideways up and around till mid-Feb before actually getting that final sell-off down into that capitulation event here that we saw at 74k in around April. And I think we are at the stage where we are obviously still what's the word? Not aligned with global liquidity, but we are still tracking. And what's happening next, as you can see on the chart, is we should be up only very soon. Now, a lot of people are saying this current pullback, so I'll pull this away just so you can see. So this is just for illustration purposes, i.e. this pullback here was this. Okay, a lot of people think the bottom's in here, and what we should be seeing next is this move up. If that was to happen and you kind of just lock them up again, Bitcoin should be on its way, I think conservatively, between 116 to 124k over the next week or two. And then after that, we get a quick sell-off in what looks to be around the end of June, before July is then up only. And then if we do just compression these charts a little bit just to see global liquidity in the future, because that is still rising. We have recently just put new highs in. Let's line this up. I did a really bad job of this. To compress it more. And yeah, there's a total argument for you saying you're just dragging it to where it looks best, blah blah blah. Yeah, sure, but I think we've tracked it so much over the last 90. I mean, look at that. Look at that correlation. You can't argue that that is not correlated in somewhat. But anywho, global liquidity has continued to spike. So it looks like we may get a chop fest between 160 to 135k from around about, call it August, all the way to, actually no, tell a lie, that's no time at all, 28th of June to around second week of August, then we start accelerating again. And then if this is correct, Bitcoin should be sat at around 170k come August 31st, according to the global liquidity. So let's kind of see. But the other thing I did want to show you guys as well was this. Can you see this global M2 versus Bitcoin?
Yep.
Right. So this is from Real Vision's latest MIT report. And basically, we have Bitcoin in turquoise and global M2, like I've just showed you. Effectively, it's a slightly different metric in white. And you can see this has been correlating or with a 12-week lead since basically the April lows, which was around here. And where we are now, June, so by the start of July, this is predicting Bitcoin. It's probably at around 118, 120k, something like that. And as you can see, going out to September along the bottom here, if you go to the start of September, which is this little white mark here, it's actually indicating that Bitcoin should be around that 170k, give or take, in that month. It looks like a lot of people that may be waiting for that long summer drawdown, whatever it might be, it might just be a slow grind drift higher if we are to continue following at the state of Bitcoin. The other thing I wanted to mention, actually I'm not sure if it's on this report, actually yes it is the ISM. Now we've talked about this before. The ISM is a great indicator of alt season, effectively. Where's the financial conditions one? The financial conditions one, where is she? That's not it. That's not it. We'll use the first one. Anyway, what we want to see is basically the ISM ticking up higher. And our last month's print of ISM at 48.5 was a bit lower than I was expecting, and lower than what other people were expecting. But if we are continue to follow, or at Real Vision they use the S&P Global US Manufacturing PMI as a forward-looking indicator, and if ISM is to continue following this, which you can see that the correlation has effectively worked since 2010 to a certain degree, we should be starting to tick up soon. So on the next ISM prints, I would think we start printing that 50, above 50. And remember, 50 is the magic number here. We're looking for ISM above 50. That means businesses are growing, they're doing all right. And then that also means more money in people's pockets. People have more money. What do? They like to gamble. So welcome to crypto. They will come in. Bitcoin's probably sat at around 120, 140K, something like that. They start getting a bit FOMO. This bubble starts inflating. Bitcoin dominance should drop off, and then boom, boom, boom. Everybody's happy and just needs to get out before cycle ends effectively. So that is global liquidity. How do I stop sharing? There it is. Any thoughts?
I think that people may decide we may deviate from global liquidity to the upside. I think that
Yes.
people will see it as a narrative. It is a narrative that is very strong at the moment. People have noticed that institutional money can move markets just as well as retail money can move markets, but institutional money seems to be a little bit more predictable. So I think there will be a lot of people
Yeah.
front running that, and I think that's the reason why we didn't trace it so tightly when it dipped, because a lot of people did see that the rise was incoming, so they didn't sell, or they didn't expect, or they didn't hold off. They kind of just bought and was like, right, I'm going to buy in anticipation of that going up. So I do think that we will probably front run that move to the upside. So I think it may even be even more explosive than on the chart. Other than that, I think that, yeah, I think global liquidity is the hand that is rocking the cradle at the moment. So we all have to pay close attention to it. It's always been it's not even a narrative, it's just been the mathematical facts behind crypto. As long as they print money, as long as there is more money, which we are quantifying as liquidity, global liquidity at the moment, then price go up. So that's the logic. That's always been the logic. It has never failed us so far. And if you do think it's failed, all you've got to do is zoom out, and you will see that it hasn't failed. They've been printing more money, price go up. So yeah, I do think that will become obvious. I think people will play it, people will front run it, and we will see possibly an even more explosive run in the next few months than anyone is expecting. I think we'll go to 150 in the blink of an eye, and then we'll see where we go next.
Let's see what happens. So moving into gems of the week, what have you got for us this week?
I've got two, right? But I'm only going to do one because I'm effectively doing my research live on camera. But the one I'm going to pick this week is going to be Iris Protocol on virtuals. So
Iris.
let me see if I can share my
What's
screen.
the ticker for that?
IRIS, if there even is one yet. Let's see.
Iris by Virtuals.
Yeah.
66 mil market cap.
Yeah, but I don't think people have got the tokens yet. And it's supposed to be on Ethereum, but I don't think people have got the tokens yet. So can you see my screen? Yeah. Yeah, you can see mine, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So the way I found this was that I realized that virtuals are doing this new thing called Virgin Points, where you can co-own agents at a minimum of 112,000 virtual, which is about 230,000 USD, with equal early access for all virgins via Virgin Point pledges. So I guess it's kind of like a launch pad, but it gives you early access. Now, virtuals themselves are the people behind this Iris, which I think is something to do with smart contract validation or smart contract. I don't want to say bug hunting, but the word escapes me. But the security of smart contracts. So basically, what it will do is it will go and check smart contracts and make sure that they're safe. So this one was oversubscribed by let's go back. It did say oversubscribed by 2,000. What's that? 28 times, something like that.
Yeah.
and you can see the participants here, and the tokens won't be unlocked for a little while. In the meantime, I don't know how people can trade it. I don't think they can trade it, but this is what I'm just looking at the moment. But the reason why it stands out as a gem to me is because virtuals are doing very well. AI, I think, is a narrative that will come back. Virtuals are, if they're not the top, they're in the top 3 projects in that narrative of AI. I guess it's probably virtuals. Maybe you'd say render. Maybe something like Tau. But anyway, so I think it's one of those top projects. It's on base. It's had a lot of exposure already, and the people are coming back to it. And it's easy for newbies to get onto as well, because a lot of newbies will be onboarded through base, and then they'll easily be able to get in here. I think the only bad sides about this gem that I'm picking on the fly is that it's not obvious how this platform works. It's not obvious. Do I pledge my tokens? Is it like staking? There's all these different things, Virgin points, and all these different things jumping out the screen at me, and it's not obvious what I should be doing. So that's the only drawback. However, I do like to say, if something is not easy, then you're still early.
You are first.
Yeah, they're still figuring it out. So Iris by Virtuals is my gem of the week, even though I don't even know how you buy it. It is something that I came across yesterday evening, and I thought this looks really interesting. I should have a bit of that, or I should at least do some research into it and try and figure out what it's all about. But I do think that this new Virtuals platform
I'll tell you,
will be.
It's funny you bring up that AI stuff as well, because yesterday I was actually thinking, I'm getting kind of fed up with ARC and AI16Z. Like, we're not seeing much, specifically ARC.
I would say specifically
AI16Z. I'd say ARC, from price action point of view, ARC's been shocking, even from the bounce of the lows. Whereas AI16Z has been a bit better. I'll get my chart up quickly and we'll just go over them. And I'll also give you my gem of the week whilst we're there.
Yeah.
Because I think we're right in saying that I don't think the AI stuff is done. It's just that I don't think maybe the ones that are out are the chosen one yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is ARC from the lows. I mean, we've seen a pretty shocking bounce from our lows back in April. We are only up 24% at current price. We saw a nice bounce, but that has just sold off again. And then AI16Z, I think, is a much better chart. And from the lows back in April, we're currently up 83%. But yes, the trend hasn't changed on these for the minute. It looks like we're trying to recover this drawdown. What we'd like to see is no lower lows come in. We don't want to be making fresh lows, otherwise that's bad. Ideally, we'd like to see this red box be taken out. We get that taken out, we probably go for all-time highs. But I'm just getting fed up with their price action, quite frankly.
Yeah.
In both of these. Anyway, whilst we're here, my gem of the week. My gem of the week this week is Redo.
Yes.
Okay. You might be thinking, what the fuck is Redo? As you can see, it is not on Solana, it is not on ETH, and it is not on BNB. It is on TON. TON here. Okay, so was it last week? What did we give last week? Did I say Per?
Yeah.
I can't remember what I gave last week now.
Yeah, I think
Per was hyperliquid. Yeah, I think Per was hyperliquid. And TON is, well, Redo is on TON. Now, full process behind this. TON, on the 13th of July, I believe, its wallet function in the Telegram app is going live in the US. Okay? It is already live in the UK and other parts of the world. If you didn't know, you have it. We'll have to do some sort of demonstration at some point when you're back, just to run people through it. But you have
Yeah.
a wallet inbuilt with your Telegram app. So i.e. I could send Crypto C some USDT or TON or SOL or whatever it was on the TON blockchain just by using his name in my Telegram. Let's say we went out for dinner, he needed to send me money, he could send it over to the Telegram app. It's also a great way for people to send money cross borders, i.e. if you needed funds where you are now in the world, Crypto C, I could send some to you if you were having trouble with traditional routes.
That
So
would
I
be
think it
nice.
opens up yes, it would.
That would.
I think that opens up a lot of avenues for Telegram. And I do think we get a ton season point two. This is when we had our first ton season. And in a minute, once I've gone through this chart, I will show you the ton chart. But this is actually, I'll do that now just for context. Otherwise, we may struggle remembering. Screen, entire screen. There we
Do you know
go.
what this makes me think?
So
I
let's
immediately
get,
think of apps like WeChat in China, where you can
yes,
do almost everything within the app. I don't think you can do everything in
yeah,
Telegram, but I think once you have money in Telegram and you already have apps in Telegram, it opens up the doors for
yeah,
so many different types of apps and things to happen within Telegram. The only other app I think that the Americans have that is like that would be X or Twitter, but I don't think Elon
yeah.
Musk and
Oh, they
Trump
got,
are
is it
planning.
Venmo?
Yeah,
They've got Venmo, but that's only a payments app, isn't it? It's only
yeah,
for
it's not a
payments.
chat
It's
app.
nothing special.
No.
Yeah.
Whereas Telegram and
But
X,
this
they've
is,
got the users.
yeah, definitely. And they've also got, I think what would catch on pretty quickly, network effects with Onyx and Ton or Telegram. Um, I mean, Telegram have got over 1 billion users. So
Yeah.
at the click of a switch, there's an argument to say they've already brought 1 billion people on chain.
Yeah.
Um, so, but going back to the
Is
charts,
Telegram a public
this
company?
is Ton. This Ton chart, we see from back here in Feb 24, we had this massive rally, and this was Ton season Mark 1 per se. And this equated to this in Redo, where we went from, well, fractions of a penny all the way up to $1.40. So some ridiculous gains. We have since seen the most humbling of sell-offs, a 98.26% sell-off. And I now believe, coming into this date, that is the 13th of July, Ton, if this channel is also to continue playing out, should be looking to do Ton season Mark 2. You can see here some short-term price targets. I think if we break down of this structure here, we should be heading to around $6. And ultimately, I do think we are heading up to the top of this channel, somewhere around that 12 to 15 at some point in the not too distant future. So what does that mean for Redo? Well, if Ton is to go to all-time highs, I would assume, possibly wrongly assume, but assume Redo goes to all-time highs as well. And if that was to happen, just back to prior highs is around a 20x. And if we were to go conservatively, let's say we go to around $3.50, you're looking at just shy of a 50x. So that is my gem of the week. It is currently sat at $6.7 million market cap. Volume is low, which shows there's not much attention there at the moment. But this is the point in time where you'd want to get in early prior to everyone coming in. So it's a very high risk, high reward strat, but I think the risk to reward is definitely there.
The volume isn't low. The volume is only low if you compare it to bigger projects. I what I'm looking at
Is that, is a 30k volume okay for a 6 million, $7 million
I don't think,
market cap
yeah,
project?
I don't think that shows all the volume because when I look on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, it shows 900k as volume. So I think
Oh,
when
okay.
you go onto, I think when you go onto CoinGecko or whichever one that was, I don't think it shows all the volume. Because
Right.
I've
Okay.
got, let me check here. I've got 24-hour volume on Bitmart a lot. No, that can't count actually. The 24-hour volume on Bitmart is like 600k, but that looks like that's not to be trusted. It's well out of line with everybody else. Gate is at 176k volume, MEXC. So the volume's not that bad. As long as volume's around 10% of market cap, I usually say that's okay. And
Yeah.
it looks like it is. Yeah. It's not listed on any major exchanges yet, only KuCoin and Gate, which is, Gate's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
KuCoin's pretty big as well. For a
I think
6
it's on
million market
CoinX
cap.
as well, I believe.
Yeah, everything's on CoinX though. Problem with CoinX doesn't have the volumes that a KuCoin or a Gate has.
No. No, it doesn't.
But for those reasons, yeah, I think that's a pretty good shout. That resistance dog. I think that's a pretty good shout. I like that one. I
Thank you
like that
very
one. I
much,
think
sir.
I think I'll give you the winner of Gem of the Week this week. I think you've outdone yourself. Well played. Well played.
Right. Well, let's move on to our trades from last week. Or actually, no, predictions. Sorry, first. Before we go jumping into that rabbit hole, let me get my screen up. I don't know if you have your prediction pad with you.
I haven't. No, I haven't. I left that
So
in the UK.
from what I have on my screen, let's go into the daily here. We both. Well, I don't know if this is a week out. When was this? Oh, we did hit it on Monday. Right. Okay. So whether depending on whether we actually managed to, or if we'd filmed this on time, we may or may not have been there in perfect timing. But we have reached our target. So we
Right.
were correct in saying when we were down at these levels, our target was up effectively, and we've both nailed that one.
Yeah.
Fartcoin, again, we were a day just off. I mean, you can see the Monday close here. It was around $1.22 for you, so I'm going to give you that one. But then initially, so where's the prior Monday here? We also hit my target as well, i.e., we come down to that 94 cents and then have shot up towards you, which was kind of what we were hoping for anyway, because we said about this falling wedge or rising wedge break into the downside.
Yeah.
Then Ethereum. So where are we? Monday. It would have been here. This green candle that my cursor is on. Initially, I had the move correct, didn't quite hit the targets I was looking for. And then effectively after that, we have then shot up. Again, depending on what time we would have got on, we would have been heading towards Crypto C's target. So I'd like to give us both that one. In the essence, we've come down, hit those areas, and then rallied.
Yeah.
And then finally, it was Arve. So again, the Monday, I'm going to give it to you. We hit that target. Mine, unfortunately, was well off. I thought we'd get kind of what we saw on Ethereum and Fartcoin, where we come down and then bounce back up, but didn't quite get it. I believe the other one we did do was Per, and that chart on here is better. Actually, no, that's against hype. I want dollars. This one here. I don't know if I've deleted our things, I may have deleted our predictions.
Oh no.
I can't remember which one it was, Might have been Per. Anyway, unfortunately, we're missing a prediction. So this week, what would you like to do? As always, we'll do Bitcoin. What other assets?
Let's do resistance dog, as it's our gem of the week.
Redo, yeah?
Yeah, let's do redo.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick another meme, and I'm going to pick
God, that chart
house.
looks horrific. House.
Yeah.
So we're going full risk degen. But we need to remember, we need to trade these. I've got now I've got to do two sensible ones.
Oh yeah, all right, okay. Well, let me do redo that we can't trade, and for the ones that we can trade, I'm gonna do. We've done Doge loads, haven't we? I'm gonna do Popcat.
Popcat.
Popcat, or as we affectionately know it, Bumbercat.
Right. I am going to do link. And let's have a look. What else we got going on? Why don't we do... Let's do deep. Actually, I don't think that's going to be on there, is it?
No.
We'll do aerodrome. That should be on there. Anyway, we've got options. We've got options. So first of all, next week, where do you think the mighty Bitcoin will be?
Bitcoin, I'm going to go.
Monday is that green line, by the way.
This is not next week, though, is it? This is just in a few days' time.
Yeah. Apologies.
This is so short. This is so
Maybe
short.
the Monday before. Next couple of days, where do you think? Actually, we should probably put this on like a 4 hour for dramatic effect.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. I think 102.
102. Where are we? 102. So you think we come back in for a little scare?
A little touchy touch.
I'm feeling the same, you know. I just don't think maybe that low.
Well, you know, it's my style generally to over-exaggerate the moves.
I'm going to say 105. Is that too close, though?
We're only doing it for a few days, so I can't see. It's not likely to move much more than that.
Let me exaggerate it a bit more. 104, 350. Redo. This is a shocking chart, so we will use the one on Dex Screener. And we'll go to the hour on this for even further dramatic effect.
Redo I like redo. I'm gonna say.
Actually, if that 1 hour is shocking, let's do 4 hour. We're on major support here. We lose this. Could be quite a quick tumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think? That's the support, if anyone's wondering.
I think we bounce back. I think we bounce up off it. I don't think we break through the. I don't think we break through the support. It depends.
Where would you like?
What are there other? There must be other, but are there other big? What's the biggest meme on Ton?
Shall we have a look?
Let's see if we can find out. Let's see where
Ton.
where redo stands.
So can you see my screen all right? Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got not
It's only showing you the resistance dog chart though. So I think you've picked up one window.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing that. I shall share entire screen. Can you see this?
Yep.
So we have Notcoin at $230 million. We have Dogs at 77. PEX, is that? PAX, whatever you want to call it. 26. Major at 20. AIC, which is an AI coin by the looks of it, at 14. Jet Ton at 10, Graham, Tonal, and then Redo is just above these DeFi things, which is DDust and Ston, at 6.7. So the Ton ecosystem is still relatively small.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. But that's also why I quite like Redo. It's one of the bigger ones on the chain. It's not like I've scrolled all the way to the bottom here and I'm picking something at 50k.
Well, that's where the money is, big dog.
It is. But yeah, on this Redo,
That's
I'm
where
gonna
the
have
money
to.
is.
I'm gonna go along the same lines as you, Crypto C, and I'm gonna say we get a bounce to that white line.
What is that? 76?
Around there.
7.5 cents. All right. Well, I'm going to
Yeah.
say we go into that buy box and we change that. We flip that into support. So I'm going to say
This.
8.4. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say
By
8.4
Monday.
cents. Yeah. Come on, let's have it. 8.4 cents by Monday.
Okay, that's Redo. Popcat. Where do you think?
Popcat. I think it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'll tell you what, there's an argument. If we can bounce soonish, there's a little head and shoulders in there.
it's very shy though, shallow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's only because we're on the 4 hour. But if
Okay.
it does break out, it still sends it to 56 cents.
Go on then. I'll take 50.
Yeah, but not by Monday.
Well, that's on a 4 hour,
We
isn't it?
yeah, we need to form the right shoulder though first. I mean, Monday is only where my cursor is there. I would have thought we form the right shoulder into
You're
Monday.
gonna say so.
But
You're gonna say chop. You're gonna say chop till
no,
Monday,
I'm
aren't
going to
you?
say we bounce to 40 cents. So I think we get that right shoulder formed.
I'm gonna say 50. I say we rip over the weekend.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, Popcats is primed to rip. SPX has been doing really well. So the likes of Popcat, I think Giga, some of the other Murad coins will probably see a little bit of that rotation.
Yeah. Right, Link. What do you think?
Where do you think on Link?
I'm
Uh,
going back for 15, 15, 20.
oh no, no, I'm going down.
You reckon?
Yeah, break out to the downside. 13, 13 on the nose.
13 on the nose.
Yeah,
Oh, you reckon we're testing those April lows? Not April
yeah,
lows, sorry. June 6th lows.
yeah. I feel like Link is a race to the bottom project, fundamentals wise. Everyone's just going to go for who can give you the information cheaper. The cheaper, the cheaper, the cheaper. These type of data plays, I think they're
Right.
generally races to the bottom. I love
And
that
finally,
aerodrome.
Aerodrome. What do you think?
I like aerodrome.
Yeah?
I want to say 65.
What do you like about it from a fundamental point of view?
That is the biggest decentralized exchange on the most easiest to enter L2 that there is,
Which is the mighty base chain.
which is
Oh,
base, yeah. So as we go into retail season, when retail shows up, I think a lot of retail go to base, and because of that, I think a lot of retail buy aerodrome. The
yeah.
sleeping giant at the moment is BNB, which I guess represents the
Yes.
rest of the world.
Yes. B&B's that chart is actually looking a lot better than Sol's, ETH's. Like B&B looks just as good as Bitcoin.
Yeah, BNB moves nicely with retail as well. So BNB
Maybe
might
we
be
should
another
do a
one for us.
B&B. We'll do B&B as a topic for next week.
Yes, let's do that. And I want to look for a gem on BNB.
Yeah, I'll look for one as well. Yeah, Aerodrome, I'm going for 61 cents or, yeah, 61.6 in there. Right, so on to predictions from last week. How do we get on?
I don't know. I don't have them with me. I'll tell you what
No,
I do
hype,
have.
the
Oh, yeah,
trades.
the trades, not predictions. Right.
Sorry.
Uh, that's all right, mate. I will. Well, I've got bad news and not so bad news.
Please say my ETH one hit. Don't pull that face. Please, we must have hit.
Right.
On my hype chart, we tagged.
Right. So, ETH.
Closed long. Wallop.
Yeah. So we hit at
2
2680.
6. Can you go to the ETH chart, please? And I just wanted to show everyone. It literally tapped 2680 to the T. So if you hover over, if you click on the screen and then hover over that, yeah, there, on the left-hand side, above where it says ETH USD 1 hour high peak, if you go along that H, then
Yeah.
down a little bit, down, and then go to the right, you see where it says H, and then has the ETH price. Keep going right. Keep going right. Yeah, there. That is the high of the candle. So if you hover over any candle, that is the height the candle went to. So if you go to the candle with the highest peak, which I believe is the next one along, yeah, that
Well,
one
no. Do you
there.
know what this must be? 2680. No, this is recent. Hold on. Let me.
Oh no, it needs to zoom out. Yeah, we're on a
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah. So on
That's
the
why.
daily.
Yeah. And then it was from last Monday, wasn't it? So I think it's that red one. Yeah, in there.
This one here. You reckon it's this one? Two
No,
six
left.
forty.
There it is, where the sell is. It's a
Oh
one
yeah, of
over.
course.
Yeah, there. It says high, 2680.7. Wallop.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Gassed.
all the way down here.
Yeah. So literally, we got in, got out, tanked.
Yeah. But it did recover.
Yes.
It did recover, and we are now. It's the high. It has been 2881. But yeah, the problem was because that was so tight. The profit was only 292, $2.92.
Indeed.
Still, 118%.
Did we 25x it?
No, we did not. I don't know why it's showing that.
25x.
That must be a bug. That must be a bug. I wish we did 25 exit.
If we did do that, happy days.
Yeah, I wish we did. I wonder if it will show me. Yeah, so that was on the 4th. That
And
happened.
then I take, did we get stopped out on part?
We got stopped out on fart and we lost $10.
Damn it.
Down 175%. We
Well,
didn't
no,
10x.
it wasn't because we didn't 10x.
No, we didn't 10x. I don't know what kind of nonsense Hyperliquid is currently on, but I'm not on my actual machine, so maybe this browser is not wanting to
My
play
one
ball.
seems to be working all right.
Yeah, it's probably this browser.
Anyway, for this week, which ones would you like to do? Oh, how is our Popcat one getting on, by the way?
We're down 10%.
Ooh.
We entered at 36 and we're currently at 35.
That's all right. It's till the end of the month.
Yep.
We've got time on our side.
Yeah, and I do think Popcat is a good place to be. Okay,
Yeah.
so which ones do you want to do this week?
Is Aero on there?
I bet it's not. Nah.
Right, okay, if not, we have to either do Popcat, Link, or Bitcoin.
We'll do Link and Bitcoin because we've already got a Popcat on.
Okay.
So,
Which one would you like to
so
take?
well, Link is a tough one because I've gone short and you've gone long.
Yeah.
So we've already lost before on Link.
Remember,
Where,
it's only a couple days, so we got to be real tight.
yeah, I'm gonna say short. I'm gonna go short Link. What have we got left? 108, so it's about $20. Oh my gosh, my king went
So,
for a mouse. Right, that's about as close as I'm gonna get it. Um, take profit. What was my prediction?
$13.
All right, well, that's crazy. Oh, actually, uh, it's another 10% or so down.
That's crazy.
So I say 13.50.
Yeah, sounds good.
Or is that too tight? It's only a few days, isn't it? So,
Yeah, it's a couple days.
and
So
stop loss.
you're looking for a big flush here, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. And stop loss at 15.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I've got to enable trading. That might have been why the things weren't working, weren't showing properly.
Oh, possibly.
Oh, this is where it starts mucking around, isn't it?
Well, if not, just write the trades down and then put them on after.
Well, by the time I get back home, I'll be home tomorrow night.
No, I mean as in
Yeah.
like after this,
Oh, okay. Oh, it's coming
if
along.
that's easier.
MetaMask is just opening. It's just moving a bit slow. Don't worry about it. It's only an
Um,
i7 10th gen laptop I've got here. Cost me an arm and a leg, but it's fine. It can move slow if it wants to.
so you've gone Bitcoin short. You're looking for a flush.
I've gone.
Hmm.
Uh, I've gone Bitcoin
I
short.
think I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go short with you this week, and I want to have a Bitcoin take profit at 104,550.
You sure you don't want to do per or something?
No. Oh, actually, let me look first.
Because this is kind of separate to our predictions. We can put different things on if we think there's different opportunities, short-term opportunities. So like Pip. Oh, this
See,
buddy.
if I'm trading per, I want long, but I am also in the camp that we get a flush. So I think we see
So
weakness this next week.
there's some good things here on sale. Buddy, AI16Z per. Some decent things here on sale.
Can we go Bitcoin short, please?
Okay, hold on. Let me get.
I'm gonna take profit of 104,550, and a stop loss.
Oh, hold on. I didn't even bloody finish the last one, did I?
Oh, is
Oh,
it still
gosh.
loading?
Yeah. No, it loaded and then I didn't click to do the order. I just got thing. All right. So Bitcoin short. Take profit at what?
104.50 or 104,550
And stop loss.
at 108.
Right. Let me do $20 again. 21 will have to do. Let's place that order.
25x short. Let's go.
Yeah. So the last time we'd done a short, we won. So let's see if we can win again.
Do you know what? After this week, I might just stick a couple $100 on a new hype address and just 40x it, try and see what happens.
I'll tell you what. I can tell you what's going to happen. You will lose your $100, sir.
No, sir, my $100 would be turned into a 1 billion.
Right. What one did I do? Link, wasn't it?
Yeah, link. Take profit of 13 and a stop loss of 14.50, or was it 15?
Take profit of 13.50 and a stop
Believe
loss
so.
at 15, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, there you go. Let's place that order. Boom, we're in the game.
Lovely stuff.
We're in the game. We've got our two positions. Popcat there. What I am looking at, though, which I do think is quite an interesting way to do it, is look at these. Oh, how did I get that before? Or did I point this one out? Yeah. And sort them by 24-hour change. And anything that's been slaughtered recently, Pippin, Buddy, and Per might be worth looking at along.
Yeah, Per's been smashing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, well, that wraps this up.
Yes, it does. Let me stop sharing.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, or until Monday, which is in 4 days' time. This will probably be hopefully uploaded by the end of the play today.
Yeah.
Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Adios.
Yes. Don't forget to CryptoWaffle.fun. Come and join us in our Telegram group. It's all popping off in there. We do loads of market updates. Financial Navigator has been on fire this week. Me, not so much, as I've been traveling up and down rivers. But yeah, we will see you on Monday. Adios.
Take care.